and welcome. I am Dr. Tora Brown.
And I'm Cassandra Melhuish.
And we are the Wine Influencers. We are so excited to welcome you to our new show, which will be airing weekly. Are you excited?
I'm super excited about it.
Oh.
Every week we're going to bring you some amazing stuff. But before we get into that and what our show is about, let's talk a little bit about us. We want to make sure that you get to know who we are. So, like I said, my name is Cassandra Melhuish, and I am married, and I'm a mom. I have an amazing 12-year-old, and that 12-year-old, like all children, changed our lives. So I was working in corporate America, killing it, as I do.
I believe it.
Because, you know, it's me. And so when my son was born, he had a lot of medical complications. He was born a preemie, and I just couldn't go back to the corporate world at that time. So I decided to stop working in that traditional format to take care of him. And that experience completely changed my life, because who knew 12 years ago that I would end up here talking about wine, experiencing this culture, living the lifestyle, and having such a passion and a career in this industry. So, Tora, what about you?
Oh, well, so for me, my story is a little bit different. I am an organizational psychologist by training. My area of expertise is consumer behavior. So really love studying people behavior, have worked with small business owners as a coach for pretty much the last 13 years, 14 years of my life, working with an organization where, like I said, we coach small business owners, and also have worked as a professor, a psychology professor, and I also teach a strategic marketing class. And so my life has really just been about consumer behavior, and really, but more than that, small businesses, and really helping people figure out how to create, like, what their why is, why are they here, what's their purpose, right? And then creating messaging that will really help them connect with their ideal client. And so my life changed recently just with, we'll get into that, but that's a whole.
We all have a story.
That's a whole other show. But just with like some things that were happening within one of the organizations where I was working, and I found like having just really a lot of stress that I wasn't even really aware of. Mm-hmm. And you know, what a better way to release stress than what? Drinking wine. And so it's funny as you talk about you as the business of wine as a business. I came to know you from my dear friend, Dr. Nat, who is one of your business partners, came into the organization with you and introduced me because, of course, like I said, always needing to relieve a little stress. And I'm not that I'm encouraging, like, you know, not getting help for that stress, but, you know, it's nice. At the end of the day, a nice glass of wine, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That was really, for me, how I my journey into this world of wine.
Yeah. And then for us, I think, when we met, we just kind of instantly connected too.
Absolutely.
Like, not just over the love of wine, but even, you know, having both of us been in corporate America and a little bit about business and strategic planning and all of that just kind of came together. And the more we talked, the more we realized how much we have in common and the vision and how this all came about.
Right. Yes. Well, it's so fun because if I remember where I met you first, it was actually at a small business. Mm-hmm. It was a wonderful establishment in Los Angeles, a small restaurant. You all were hosting a wine tasting. Dr. Nat invited me. I came out and tasted some amazing wine, right? Yeah, and had some good food, which is always nice. And just got really interested in what you were doing and kind of started following you around. Not like a groupie,
you were
but
groupie.
Like
you're still a groupie.
I'm still a groupie. Am I still a groupie? Okay, but like really started following you around because like what, over 200 wines in the portfolio. So I'm like, there's always something new for me to taste and become a part of, right?
Yeah. Just absolutely amazing. And then for us to kind of have a shared passion of wanting to share the wine lifestyle with others, right?
Absolutely.
And I think it was, you know, after you visit the wineries and you go to that, you see that lifestyle a little bit more within the Bosse properties. and you experience the lifestyle and everybody's like, oh my God, this is amazing, right?
Absolutely.
So then it becomes about, can we break down that perception of wine that people have and kind of make it more approachable and fun and exciting? And people need to understand that we didn't come into this being wine experts.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
We didn't go to school and study and do all this stuff to get here. You can get into wine just from any aspect of your life,
Absolutely.
because our backgrounds are so different, right?
Totally.
So here we are, and we kind of shared that vision, and and then we were able to bring that vision together with All Access Broadcasting, who was actually looking for more voices, right? To elevate voices. And so that's something that we were passionate about within our own community and elsewhere, being able to talk about something that a lot of people are afraid of.
Absolutely. And it's so interesting you talk about like the elevating voices. And I remember really specifically when, so my friend Janet, who is the owner of All Access Broadcasting, who is amazing, of course. I love amazing people.
Amazing.
And so I got an email from her, or I don't even remember, something, just talking about her new platform and about amplifying voices and how she really wanted to create programming and content that would be, regular people, interesting content that people could connect to and to really put voices out there. And immediately when I saw that email, I don't remember how. When I saw that communication, I immediately was like, I got to call Cassandra, because I had been having a conversation with you about the work you're doing with wine influencers. And I was like, this could be a really good platform. And I wonder, and I didn't know exactly what it looked like or what it was going to be, but I thought, I want to, I could see this. And especially with the work I do in the world, right? It's all about messaging and helping people creating their message and their voice, and just having conversations with you about wine influencers and what can we do to get like that out there and really show people that wine isn't just this thing that has to be like stuffy or, that it's only for certain people, right? And that you can't drink it if you don't know about it, right? But wine is a whole lifestyle, right? There's so much more to wine. And I think when I really saw that the first time, which is why, of course, I thought about you and the wine influencers, was you invited me to attend the retreat, the Boisset retreat. And you were like, you have to come to this. It was last February. And you said, you have to come. And I was like, well, it's in Napa. Like, how bad can it be?
Drink some wine.
We'll drink some wine. It'll be fun, right? And I got the opportunity at that time to meet Jean-Charles Boisset, the owner of the Boisset collection. And I mean, wow.
Yeah, amazing.
Right?
Talk about amazing.
I mean, really. And listening to his vision. And so you have this man who grew up in the world of wine, who's a Frenchman, right? Who, we have this idea when we think about, okay, I won't say you have this idea. I have this idea when I think about wine and I think about French people producing wine, it feels it doesn't feel like something that I can easily be a part of, right?
Very approachable.
It feels,
I want to know about that, but I don't want to seem like an idiot when
I don't want to tell people that I'm asking. I don't want to ask questions because I don't want them to know that I don't know. Like at least that's what you think, right?
Exactly.
Or do I have to save up 3 paychecks before I show up, right?
Exactly. How much is this going to cost me?
How much is this going to cost me? So maybe I won't, right? But I was like, you know what? It sounds like fun, and the timing was right, and just going and being a part of it and experiencing the whole lifestyle. And so since you've been involved with this for 6 years now?
6 years.
So talk to me, talk more about that, because I can only begin to say how exciting it was for me, but you can give even more background about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, I think, a lot of our stories being that, you want to do something and you want to learn more, but wine is so intimidating as a whole. It kind of has a bad rap for that. And talk about what Jean-Charles has done and
so cool.
been giving us a platform and the ability to get into the wine world and learn about the wine world and not feel intimidated and learn as you go. You don't have to come in being this wine expert, being a wine influencer and being on the team doesn't mean you have to know everything about wine. You learn as you go, and that's part of the journey. It's really about joining and being a part of this and understanding that, and then learning as you go, and just coming to the events and going to wine country. And we are doing that with you, right? You have an instant network of people who share the same passion. So for me, going on this journey for 6 years, every year, it just kind of gets better and better because I meet new people that we have that shared passion for, as well as other things. And who knew that, right, 6 years ago or 4 years ago, we'd end up here. Like, didn't even know you, right? Went to retreat together. We've traveled together. We've experienced a lot of the tasting rooms together.
Yes.
You've been at a lot of events as you're a wine society member.
Yes.
You know, you get your shipments and you're loving the wine and embracing that lifestyle. And here we are. So that's really amazing. So I'm excited about our new show,
Yay,
Wine
me too.
Influencers. And, you know, it's just a way for us to really talk to people about wine. You know, we're going to do a little bit of wine education. We are going to talk about travel because we definitely do our share of that.
Travel. Yes.
We are going to do some fun stuff just on wine and food pairings, and maybe things that you wouldn't expect, right?
Right.
We're going to talk about how you can get into the wine industry. We're going to talk about, you know, going to those tasting rooms. And I mean, what else? I mean, we got so many things. We're going to have so many good guests
I think
as well.
that we have got great guests. We're going to talk about wellness. I think we're going to talk about, for sure, things that are going to be important to women, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Health, wellness, beauty, right? The self-care stuff. I think wine goes good with self-care.
Stress you were talking about
stress,
earlier.
right? I mean, I think that as women, we do so many things, and I think it's so part of our culture and our society to just, you know, we kind of do everything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even if you think of, and I mean, for those of you, like even if you think of the Proverbs 31 woman that we are all supposed to be like, oh, this is who we should be. Oh my God, like she gets up in the sun time and then she goes here, she goes there, she goes there. Like, are you kidding? Does she ever take a break? And it's like, that's, I think we pattern ourselves about, you know, on this perfection and on doing so much. And so we're going to talk about all those things. We're going to bring that stuff to the show. And so how can we live a more balanced life? How can we have fun? And then, like I said, the health, the beauty, the travel, fashion.
Fashion.
We love fashion, right? And then, of course, we're going to talk about wine.
Yeah.
Of course, wine.
Hello, we have wine here, which, hey, may be a good segue into...
I know. Well, yes. Oh, my gosh. We've been... How long have we been talking? And we haven't even, like, had a chance to, like... So here's to our new show.
Here's to our new show. Yes.
Thank you. Yes. Cheers.
So what would be fun is, for those of you watching the show, you know what? Grab a glass of wine and, you know, hang out with us for like 50 minutes. And as we talk about it, we're drinking wine, you drink wine, right? And we can just have a good time doing that.
And yes, and then as we progress in the show, we'll talk about wines, and maybe we'll even ahead of time tell you what we're going to be drinking the next week, so you can even drink with us.
Yeah,
and we can tell you how you can drink what we're drinking.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Drink what we're drinking.
Drink
you know,
what we're drinking. Drink along with us.
Drink
how
along
fun
with
would that
us.
be? Yeah. So I think we've got some exciting things coming up. And we'd love to hear from you too. So if you have different topics that you want us to chat about or questions that you want answered, you know, just let us know, because we can easily talk about those things too.
Absolutely. And, you know, you can always put questions into, we're going to be on Facebook Live. So, of course, you can always pop in your questions at All Access Broadcasting. And if we miss your question live, of course, we will always come back to it. Yep. So we will have a segment of the show where we will be, last week Syrah asked about blah, blah, blah. So we're absolutely happy to do that. So please be like, if you have questions or comments or anything, just feel free to jump in, because we want to share and have a good time with you. This isn't just going to be us sitting here chatting and talking. And
we want to create a forum for everybody.
We do, because again, just like All Access Broadcasting says, they amplify voices. We want to be a part of that, and we want to amplify your voices too. So we want to hear about the things that matter to you.
I love it. Well, let's talk about this rosé.
What is in our glass? Oh my gosh.
So go ahead.
Well, you know, I picked this one. I thought, wow, what a great way to start our show, because I love, this wine is from Deloatch. Should I pull it out and show everybody?
Yeah, why not?
So this is from Deloatch. And what I love, there's lots that I love about this winery. So number one, as Cassandra was talking about Jean-Charles Boisset, who is the owner of our company. This was the first winery, as I mentioned, he's French. He moved to America, I'm not sure what year he moved here, but he purchased Deloatch in 2006. Was it 2006?
I can't remember.
It's around 2000. So let's go with 2006
we'll go
right
with that
now.
for now.
So, and this was the first winery that he purchased. So Deloatch, okay, and you see the beautiful fleur-de-lis, very French, right? And so he purchased this winery, and when he got there, he said, when he looked at the winery, he was like, it's not exactly up to the French standard, right? So he pulled up all the vines and replanted. And so I know it was a few years before they even produced wine that they were able to sell. But I love that because they came in, he redid everything. And what's so great about this winery is it's biodynamic, right? And so biodynamic, that's like this big word that is being thrown around nowadays when you're talking about agriculture and whatnot. But so it's really simple. It is farming the way we used to farm, right? According to the almanac. Wow, imagine that. Like using the farmer's almanac and looking at what it says, the cycle of the sun, the moon, the stars, astrology, planting when it's time to plant, tilling the land, all of that. When you're like the way it's supposed to, based on the almanac, not speeding it up, not making it faster, but really doing it so that the sun, the moon, the stars is all a part of it. So it's very natural. There's nothing that comes into the farm that is not part of the farm, right? There's nothing that comes into the plant. So there's nothing added from the outside. There's no outside. If they need to use a fertilizer, it's from an animal that's there on the farm. They know how that animal was fed. They know, right? So there's no chemicals introduced. It's an all natural product and a process, and which makes it organic, which is very exciting. And people don't like to say organic, right? Because I don't know about you, but prior to this, I had not had a lot of organic wines that I was super excited about. And we'll leave it at that. But this wine is fantastic. And I think what I love the most about this wine is it, like, for me, is so special. It's, it's the month of October, breast cancer awareness. And so for all of the rosés in the Boisset collection, they were donating $2 back to the Breast Cancer Research Fund, which for me is really special because, I've been affected by breast cancer.
I think a lot of people
and I think a lot of us have, right? And so I think it was, for our first show, we thought it was really something important to talk about because we definitely want to talk about women and wellness and well, not just women, but wellness in general, right? Because breast cancer is something surprisingly that even men have to think about.
Exactly.
But I wanted to open the show. I thought it'd be really fun. So I brought my Deloatch Rosé of Pinot Noir.
Love it.
And so, one of the things we said we would talk about would be wine education. So you want to talk a little bit about how a rosé of Pinot Noir is made? Because I know when most people think of a Pinot Noir, they're like, isn't it supposed to be dark?
Red is supposed to be dark and red, and
right.
That's so light. And
why
it's
is it so
almost
pink?
Peachy. compared to
right,
the pink that we're wearing, this is almost like very peachy. Yeah.
I just love hearing that sound.
I know, I love this. It's amazing. So rosés, and even if you notice, like with different rosés, they're all different colors, right? So the way that a rosé is made, most common within the Boisset collection, is the color of the wine is determined how long the skins stay in contact with the juice, right? So it doesn't matter what color the juice is, the juice is usually clear, right?
Right.
And then it will stay in contact with the grapes, and it determines the color. So this was there
so
for a
I have
short
to
amount
say
of
something
time.
really quick because as much as like that sounds so common sense, the first time I heard that I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Like if you open a grape, it's clear.
It's clear. It's
right?
not
like,
red on the inside.
Yeah, if you cut a grape open, you bite into it, like it's not red.
Yeah, exactly. It's clear. So when they're pressing the juice, it's clear. And then if they let the skin stay in contact with the juice, then it starts to change color.
Right.
So with the rosé, so you could probably tell with this color, it wasn't on there very long.
Right.
Right? Now if you go to the deep darkest red, then which we're going to have later, then those skins stayed in contact with that juice for a very long time. So Pinots can be all the way from this light all the way to the darkest red.
So fascinating. And it's interesting to me because this rosé, to me, like I love the whole saying of rosé all day, right? I love this rosé, but it's, to me, this is not, and not that it's not all day, but it's not what I think of as a rosé. No. It's not as light. Like when I think of a rosé, normally I think of a light. And so that's another reason why I thought this was kind of fun, because it's a sturdy girl, right?
Most people think of rosé as light. Yeah. Right? They think of a little sweetness going on, right? Some people even think it's more sweet type of rosés.
Right.
But for this one, we can refer to it, if you want to know a wine term, it has more structure.
It does.
Which just means it's not light.
Yeah, it really does. And the first time I tasted it, I was like, oh, because, like I said, I was expecting from a rosé, I like, there's the JCB number 5 that I absolutely love. Yes. That's so light, and it's not super fruity, but it's very different.
By the pool.
Yeah, it's by
You're
the
just
pool.
Like lounging.
I call it my breakfast rosé.
Yes.
Right? This is a little powerful.
This you're going to have at Thanksgiving. You're going to put this with some turkey.
This is really great for Thanksgiving with turkey, right?
You're going to have this with some Brussels sprouts, some turkey, some green beans.
You know what? Honestly, I have had this rosé with a steak.
Oh.
And it actually held up.
Very nice. I like that.
It held up.
I really like that.
It held up because it's like you said, it has more structure. It's formidable. So I love this rosé, and it took me a minute because, like I said, for me, you
weren't used to this.
I'm like, no, a rosé is supposed to be like happy and vivacious and like, sweet, not and not when I say sweet, I don't mean syrupy. I just mean like But this one, I really like this. So
this is a really good rosé. So wonderful. So I think part of that, what you were talking about, the whole wellness, and us as women, and what we're talking about, and having a rosé in celebration of Breast Cancer Month.
Yes.
Talk about a little bit of how that's affected both of us.
Absolutely.
I think you have an interesting story. I have mine
Absolutely.
as well.
And so my story, it's my story. It's my mom's story, but it's my story because my mom is my mom, right? And I'm part of her life, and she's part of mine. So my mom, very exciting. This, let's see, I think February will be 11 years breast cancer free. So yay!
Yay, I love it.
So she's 10 years breast cancer free. So what's really crazy is why I want to share my mother's story is that my mom regularly gets mammograms and regularly does self-exams. My mom at the time of her diagnosis was, she was 63 at the time of her diagnosis. And she went in for her mammogram in May and got the all clear. And so, yay, great, I'm all clear. She just did it because that's what you do. You get your mammogram. And she got her all clear. And then, but she did self-exams. And this is why I love sharing this story, because it's really important for us to remember, even if we get our mammograms every year, we need to get those, we need to do our monthly self-exams, monthly, weekly, however often you're doing it, but you need to do the self-exams, right? And so she did her self-exam in June, and she was like, that's something feels a little odd, right? But she's like, okay, and she kind of let it go. She's like, oh, well, it wasn't really big. She said felt like a pimple maybe, right? Yeah. So the next month she's like, I kind of feel like that's in the same place. I need to, I probably should do something. So she made an appointment, and then she's like, and she continued to, check, and she's like, yeah, no, it's still there. So she went in for her appointment to see the doctor, because since her mammogram was fine, there was no urgency. There's no urgency. Your mammogram was fine. So she goes in, and they did a mammogram, and they were like, well, the mammogram doesn't show anything. But they said, but we can feel something. So maybe we should you're right, we feel something, and you have good insurance, and just keep it real. You got good insurance. So why don't we do an ultrasound, right? And so they did the ultrasound same day, and they're like, oh, there's a mass in the ultrasound, they could see a mass. And so the reason that the mammogram couldn't see it was because it was in the duct, right?
Wow.
So they did a biopsy same day, did the biopsy, and then it came back, and she found out she had cancer, and it was stage 2, you guys.
Wow.
Like, so in May, you have your breast cancer free, you're good in May.
You're good. Yeah.
And then in August, by August, when she gets to the doctor in August, she's stage 2. So, we don't know, was it like this aggressive cancer that took over, or was it just because it was in the duct we couldn't see? But the reason I share this story is like stage 2 is still not that, you don't want to be stage 2, but stage 2 is not stage 4, right? So,
right, exactly.
And they're able to treat it and do something with it at stage 2 that, like, if she, who knows, if she had waited a whole year, if she wasn't doing self-exams and waited a whole year,
we don't persistent with her doctor to say something's there.
Right, because we don't know. I mean, like, because we don't know, was it not there and it was aggressive, or, but the thing is, by doing the self-exams, she was able to find something, and which, had she not been doing self-exams, it would have been a year. It would have been a year before she would have gone in for another mammogram.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's
so
amazing.
I just think it's so important, like, for us to remember that we need to do our exams. Touch those boobies, right?
Touch them. You touch them. Someone else can touch them.
That's right. Well, funny with that, someone else touching them. I have another story. I have a girlfriend who her breast cancer was found. She was on a date, you guys. Okay, like first date. Can you imagine?
No.
Like first date?
Listen,
no judgment. No judgment, okay? No judgment. This is a judgment-free zone.
Probably all been there.
So she said the guy, because I guess he had a girlfriend who had breast cancer. So he's like, well, I don't need to get graphic. And he's like, what's that? And she's like, oh, I don't know. Stop talking. Stop talking.
We have things to do.
But anyway, like, he was like, I think you need to, he's like, I think you need to get that checked. And so, and I share this and I'm giggling, but she was like, well, I don't have mammograms at the time. She was like 30, I think. Right? So she's like,
very young, yeah.
She's like, I don't have mammograms. What are you talking? He's like, well, my girlfriend had breast cancer. My ex-girlfriend had breast cancer. I think, so this guy actually talked her into going to the,
wow.
Isn't that crazy?
And found out she
had breast cancer.
Wow. So see,
so she should have married him, but she didn't. But anyway, that's another conversation.
That's a whole relationship story.
That's a whole other episode. But yeah, it's super.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
It's super important.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. And I think for me, my grandmother was diagnosed with breast cancer, and for years I didn't even know. Like, I knew something was happening, and I'm older. I'm 30s, 40s, whatever, and. You know something's happening and you hear a little bit, you ask about it, but no one shares it with you, right? So, this happens in so many families. And, so when I finally found out, I'm asking my grandmother, I'm like, hey, these are things I need to know. Like, number one, I definitely want to support you, right? I want to know more about it. But that generation is all about, her thing to me is, I didn't want to worry you. I know you're so busy. I know you have a lot going on. I just didn't want you to worry.
Yeah.
And I was mad. And I immediately said to her, I said, I totally understand what you're saying, but you're not helping me by keeping that quiet. You help me by sharing with me that that's your experience and what's going on. Because when I go to the doctor, right, or when I'm doing my self-exam, I'm going to be a little bit more in tune with what's really going on with my body, right? And when I go to the doctor, I'm checking the form saying, is there a history of this in your family? Is there a history of that, history of breast cancer? I've been checking no, right? So the doctor is then only going to put me on that track of, you get mammograms when you turn, 40 or something like that?
40, yeah.
When you get your first mammogram. So we were able to have a really good discussion in our family with my grandmother and my parents, and understanding that you guys have to share this family history with us, because it's really important for me to know that, for me to be able to take care of myself, and through that discussion, my grandmother was even like, well, nobody talked to me about it. And then through that, my sister had cancer and died of breast cancer. My aunt had and you're just like, this is stuff we need to know. Like, we need to change that course of history, right? Well, we don't really know if it's hereditary or not, whatever, but we still need to be aware.
Absolutely.
Right? That
Absolutely.
these things are going on, and being able to talk to each other about it, and even talk as friends.
Well, and it's so interesting because the irony for me when it happened with my mom, I was involved with this nonprofit women's organization, and I was chairing the Color Me Pink and Purple campaign, which is breast cancer awareness and domestic violence awareness. And it was interesting because I was reading all these articles, and one of the articles that I read was that the reason that I don't want to say the reason that women die, but what happens with so many women, because you think about women and you think about like what I talked about at the beginning, like who we are in our families, who we are in society. We're the ones, we're handling everything. We're like busy, we're working, we're this and we're that, right? And so oftentimes when a woman gets breast cancer, like they're in charge, right? Like they're in charge, they're taking care of the house, they're taking care of the kids, they're doing this. So they're not even my mom, right? And it was saying how we need to, like the article was saying how we need to be like, no, we're here, we're supporting you. And, we're not to cry in front of them, right? Because they're the ones who are always consoling us, right? And so remembering that, and it was so great that I read that article, because even my mom was like, she'd come home from chemo talking about, okay, so I'm gonna make dinner. No, Mom, you're not. You just came home from chemo. Like, and she would say, grandma. She'd be like, well, I don't understand. Yeah, and I would go sit at her house, and she'd be like, well, I don't understand why you have to. I'm not a baby, and I was like, you just had chemo. Just sit down.
Right, exactly. Right? But that's who we are. That's within the like what the makeup of who we are. So yeah, I think that's why it's important. We're going to be talking about these topics, right? We're going to get real about that. We're going to get real about how it affected us in our life, because it's part of all of our journey, right? Yeah. And how we get to that certain point in life, and it's a responsibility to help each other out, and share those stories. So I'm really excited about that, but I want more wine.
Oh, do you want more wine? Now, do you want more of this one, our Deloatch, or should we move into the fun thing that we were going to do?
I think we go into the fun thing.
Okay, so here's our fun thing, you guys. Are you ready? So tomorrow, as you know, is Halloween. My favorite day, like my favorite national holiday, right?
You like to dress up?
I love to dress up. I was going to dress up today, but I wasn't sure if you guys were ready. So next year, I'll be totally dressed up. For this episode next year, I will be dressed up. But anyway, I'm just letting you know ahead of time. And any other moment or holiday I can dress up for. But I may show pictures next week of my costume. But anyway, so I love, so as we said, we're going to make wine tasting really fun and make wine accessible and make it not just for those moments, but for every day, all the time. Mm-hmm. And so I saw this really cool thing on Instagram. Do you guys like Instagram as much as I do? Okay, so
God, you love Instagram. You're always posting.
I love my Instagram, right? So I found this really cool thing on Instagram, and so can we everybody show this. So it's the best wine to drink with your favorite Halloween candy. So as you see, okay, first it starts with my favorite, which is candy corn and Prosecco. So I love that. And then Snickers and Syrah, Butterfinger and Chardonnay, Nerds and Riesling, Starburst and Rosé.
Oh my God.
Right? Oh, wait. Whoppers and Pinot Noir. Almond Joy and what is that with sherry? Nobody drinks. I mean, look, I said nobody drinks sherry. I mean, some people
don't drink sherry.
I don't drink sherry. People drink. Actually, that's not my. So yeah, I do know people who drink sherry. Listen, I don't pretend like I'm cooking and drinking sherry. I just drink. Okay. Yeah. And there's other ways to drink sherry, I know. But I always think of in the old days when women would try to pretend like
dainty glass.
Try to pretend like, oh, I don't really drink. I'm using the sherry for cooking. Okay. And then the last one, of course, is the Reese's Cups and Lambrusco. So I thought it would be fun because you're going to have, listen, your kids are going to get, those of you with kids, and then those of you who are giving out candy, you're going to have way too much candy left over. Yes. And so instead of just eating candy and just like being, I'm just eating candy, why don't we eat candy and pair it with wine?
Yeah, experiment. See what works.
See what works and doesn't. So we're going to use this as our guide. And since we already have rosé in our glass, do you need a little bit more?
I think I need a little bit more.
Okay. So let me give you a little bit more of this rosé.
A little bit more of the rosé.
Okay.
Just a little.
I get a little heavy-handed.
Yes, you do. All right, that's good. See, heavy-handed.
I know. I can't help it. A little.
You're all about your rosé.
I love it.
All right, we've got.
So we have Starburst,
right?
Okay.
Okay.
So
Starburst.
So when you're doing a wine tasting, the way to do it properly. When you're pairing wine, you're pairing wine with food. Do you like that voice? I was like, that's my wine voice. Is that good? Let me know if that's good.
Is that your wine education voice?
Wine voice. Let me know if that's good. If that's not good, I'll do something new. Okay. So when you're pairing wine with food, you first, of course, you want to taste the wine.
Taste or?
Well, you should you should swirl.
Well, we've had this open.
It's open, good,
we'll
right?
Do that on the next show.
Okay. Well, you should sniff a little bit. You taste it, so you kind of know what the wine tastes like by itself, and you can go, oh, lovely flavor. So what are you tasting?
Yeah, some berries going on there.
I love the berries.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's really nice.
I love this wine because it's really, like you said, it has structure, but then it as it opens and as you sit with it, it really is a beautiful rosé.
Yeah, it really is.
I love this.
It just kind of fades. All right,
okay.
So then, bite of the Starburst.
Which one did you have? I had the pink one.
No, I had strawberry.
I think mine is too.
So that'll be fun. All right, let's see what we got here.
And now, that was really pretty, wasn't it? Now you drink.
Oh, that's interesting. I was not expecting that.
I'm not sure. I have to try it again. Hold on. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Okay, Better Homes and Gardens. I'm not sure. Hold on.
Well, because the first sip for me was not good. And I was like, it was going to be kind of iffy because of the sweetness. But what I didn't expect was at the end, it mellowed out.
It's really interesting. It is, because let me say this, like, can I do this all night? But I don't know. But so here's what I think is interesting, because it totally changed, which of course is what food does, right? But it changed the wine into it's not that it didn't taste good. It changed it. It just changed it.
It made it a different wine.
It tasted more grapefruit to me.
Yes.
It tasted like
it tasted
the
whole
like
taste of the wine.
It tasted more like I was drinking a Sauvignon Blanc than like a Pinot Noir, or even like a rosé. It was tart.
And then, very interesting.
Not bad, just really different.
So I wonder if different flavors
of the Starburst. Well, look,
give you different.
Well, here's a different one. I have a different one. Let's try.
Let's give it a try.
I just had the light pink, so now this is important. And I know you want to know, don't you?
Right. Exactly.
But we don't have all. Now I wonder what it tastes like with the red Starburst. Like, that might be interesting.
Oh, like cherry.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Now what is this pink one called?
I have no idea.
I can't read.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Do they have what flavors?
I don't know.
No idea about Starburst. Remember, you used to eat them all the time when you were little, and then now nothing.
I ate Now and Later's more.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, that would be nice classic candy to try.
Okay, try that next time. Okay.
All right, give that a try. What do you think?
It does the same thing. It makes it it tastes like grapefruity to me.
Oh, interesting.
It tastes to me, like a Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh, wow. See, that's interesting.
Like if I weren't
totally different flavor.
Completely. Like if I were just looking at it, I would be like, oh, I'm drinking. I mean, if I weren't looking at it, I would be like, oh, we're drinking Sauvignon Blanc.
Right.
That's what I would think.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
All
so
right,
the next one.
I hate to rush you, but
Well, I know, girl. We haven't have all day.
Fun.
Too much fun.
We don't have all day.
So now we're gonna try. So guys, you want to see it, right? The Butterfinger and the Chardonnay, because Chardonnay is buttery, so that kind of makes sense when you hear it.
And this is the one I think I've wanted to try. When I saw it, I went, ooh, I really want to try this one, because I do like Butterfingers, but I was like, yes, a little buttery, the peanut butter, all of that. How would that taste?
So what
with
are we
the
drinking?
Chardonnay?
Which wine are we drinking?
So we are having the Deloatch Chardonnay. So we're still with the same.
We love our Deloatch.
Yes, winery. But this is going to be a Chardonnay, and we're going to cut our explanation quick so we can get through all the wines and pairings that we have.
Oh my God, that's so not fun.
But give that a taste. Initial impression.
I have to taste a little more because I think I'm still leftover Starburst.
Okay, me too.
Oh, I like that. And I'm not a Chard girl, but
ABC.
me too, right?
Anything but Chardonnay.
Anything but Chardonnay. That's usually me. But but I have to say I love the Deloatch Chard in general, as well as the Buena Vista, as well as
that's the thing.
as well as the.
I learned in all of my wine education and being in this wine world that it's not that you haven't. It's not that I don't like Chardonnay. I haven't found the Chardonnay
that you like. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
let's
taste
try.
I
love Butterfinger.
That's sexy.
We'll have to work on our cute little bite.
Yeah, dainty.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like it. That's kind of what I expected. I expected to be pleasantly surprised by that one. Yeah.
And it's funny because, excuse me, as I'm talking and eating, I'm not a super Butterfinger fan. A Butterfinger fan. Say that 3 times fast.
Butterfinger fan.
Butterfinger fan. Butterfinger. Okay.
And with a mouthful of Butterfingers.
Right. Okay. Okay. So now we have. So this I did something a little tricky.
Okay.
It said Syrah with Snickers. I didn't have a Syrah, but I had the new Buena Vista Deputy, which is a petite Syrah. And if you're wondering, isn't that the same? Isn't it just a baby Syrah? No, it is not. Is it just a tinier grape?
Big Syrah grape versus a little Syrah grape?
No, it is not. We don't have time to tell you the difference today, but
you'll learn it along the way.
You'll learn it along the way.
Okay, that's enough. Seriously.
Girl, you know me. I don't know how to do pour slow. It's a completely different varietal.
Okay.
So I'm going to see. That's what they recommended. So let's see if it works. And for the Snickers.
Okay.
Now, it may be my fault if this doesn't work because I did what I had, because I just wanted to eat a Snickers.
All right.
Oh, that's good stuff.
That's good. You know what? This is the first time I've had the Deputy.
Is it since since the retreat?
Since the retreat.
They introduced it at retreat.
Very
good. Okay, so now.
I got to coat the mouth with that. All right. Let's give it a try.
It's not bad. Okay, here's what's weird. It tastes like a raisin.
I couldn't figure out what it was, and you're exactly right. I could not figure out that taste.
Isn't that weird? It tastes like a raisin.
You're exactly right.
That's so weird. It really pulls out the grapey. It tastes like I'm eating a raisin.
Yep.
That's
weird.
It made the wine, which it didn't taste like a raisin when I first drank the wine.
Right.
But it's not, it's really interesting. It's good. It totally.
I like that.
It made it like sweet.
Yeah.
It made it taste like a raisin.
Wow, that's really good.
That's weird.
That's interesting, yeah.
Did it taste, was that?
But that's the whole thing about food and wine, right? Like that's the fun part, because my husband and I just like doing this at home sometimes. We'll grab like a bunch of cheeses and crackers and dried fruits, and we'll open a couple bottles and just try different foods with the different wines. It's such a fun thing to do.
That's crazy. Yeah. Okay, so now for the last one.
So now I gotta drink this.
You have to
need a
drink
dump
it.
Bucket.
That is alcohol abuse. We do not do that here.
Alcohol abuse.
Yes. We do not do that.
Seriously.
Here. Yes. Dump buckets are alcohol abuse. Do not do that on my watch. Okay. So it said Lambrusco and Reese's peanut butter cups.
You talk.
Okay. So we're gonna have the French Kiss, which is, let me show the bottle because it's so cute. It's got little lips. Look at the lips. Oh, I love it. So this one is a sparkling gamay lovely. This is definitely a breakfast wine because it's like 8% alcohol.
Yes.
So it's, it's very light and fluffy and fun. But it's a red, it's a sparkling red, which is really fun, like a Lambrusco.
And most people aren't used to seeing a sparkling red.
Right. So it's 100% Gamay. This is Bordeaux as well. Or is it Beaujolais? Beaujolais, yeah. Beaujolais.
After a couple glasses, it doesn't matter how you say it.
Yeah, it was that place. So,
all right, so this is Reese's.
Yeah, so we got to drink did you taste it first? No. Yes. This one said in Reese's, yeah.
I love this French kiss.
I love the French kiss,
and I
too.
don't like a lot of sweet wines. But this one, kind of the same thing as the rosé. It's really good.
Well, it's really good because even after the Snickers, it's really good. Hold on. Because I still have Snicker in my mouth, and it's actually good with Snickers, too.
Oh, okay.
You're like, oh, okay. It's probably the peanuts.
That's really good. I think that's the best one.
Let me see. Oh, my God. I can't wait.
I think that's the best one. For me, I think it's the best one because it's the one that actually accentuates the best of the wine as well as the candy. And I love food pairings that do that. So for this, I think it goes very well for me. Your palate, not so much.
So I'm going to say something that's probably going to be blasphemy right now. I am not really a total Reese's fan anyway.
Okay.
Let's just keep it real.
Yeah.
So,
fine.
But with that being said, I liked it.
Yeah, it's weird. Not weird, but it's just
I wanted to try it because am I going to be the one am I going to be the girl who's going to be like, oh, bring me some Reese's and I'm going to eat them all up. I'm not. Now bring me some Snickers, some Starburst, some Starburst. No, so well, we were talking about breast cancer awareness, so it's all good. Some Starburst, some Skittles, right? Starburst, Skittles, Red Vines. I'm all about it.
Oh, okay.
But
you have an appreciation for it with the wine. And
it actually tasted
what wine
really.
And food does when you get a good pairing like that. It's like some people do not like lamb, but when they have lamb with a Pinot, they go, "Oh my God, I didn't know I liked lamb."
That's so funny because Boo Bear had that moment.
Okay, who the hell is Boo Bear?
You know who Boo Bear is,
but they don't know.
Oh, they follow my Instagram. It's a little secret. But so he's like, I don't really like red wine. He's like, I only like champagne, But with we had lamb and we had the number 12 at Easter.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, okay. But he also was like, I don't like lamb. And he had the lamb and he was like, he liked red wine and lamb.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, that's what you never know. So that's the fun of doing this. And I really suggest that you guys try it at home because it's really fun. You're going to have a ton of candy after all of that trick-or-treating. Grab some wine and do the adult thing. Say, kids, go to bed.
Okay.
It's time.
Well, the other adult thing you can do with this French kiss.
What's that?
The adult ice cream. Oh, she's getting up. You know what? The adult ice cream float where you use the vanilla ice cream and have you done that one yet?
I think I did that with you.
Okay.
At one of the,
that's going to be another. We have to do that one because that's really good.
Yeah, that's fun.
But
the adult float.
I got to tell you, I always have a good time with you, Cassandra Melhuish.
I think this is going to be really fun. I'm
super loving it.
It's going to be amazing.
And I hope you guys loved it too. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes.
Be sure to follow us, All Access Broadcasting, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Follow us on all your social media channels.
Yes.
As well as
and tell them your personal one.
Well, I was just about to. Thank you.
Yes.
Follow me, Dr. Tora Brown, on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And
my Instagram is Wine Fabulous Me because I'm just fabulous, and Cassandra Melhuish on Facebook. So so make sure we're so thankful to All Access Broadcasting for letting us have a platform for this show, and we're really looking forward to, connecting with you every week and bringing you more information about wine and just sharing a little bit of our lifestyle with you, because we're having fun and it's amazing, and we think everybody should do that with us.
Absolutely. And again, we are here to amplify voices, so we want to hear your voices. So please do reach out to us. Thank you again to Ms. Janet for giving us this opportunity. We love you.
I think we should do a cheers with these wonderful crystal glasses that we'll tell you about on another episode. But listen.
Good night.
Good night.